2025 gave us some incredible movies, and this year has been great so far. But the next 2 years are shaping up to be just as exciting, with plenty of big titles we can't wait to see. So, here are the movies we're most excited to watch in 2027 and 2028. Pendulum, January 1st, 2027. The movie marks the directorial debut of Mark Heyman, the BAFTA-nominated writer behind Black Swan. Pendulum features a star-studded cast led by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Phoebe Dynevor, Norman Reedus, and Jackie Weaver. The film is produced by Darren Aronofsky through Protozoa alongside Jacob Jaffe and David Kaplan. The story follows married couple Patrick, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Abigail, played by Phoebe Dynevor, as they travel to a New Mexico wellness retreat hoping to heal after a traumatic experience. Patrick is determined to help his wife, but he begins to grow suspicious of the retreat's mysterious leader, played by Jackie Weaver, while Abigail becomes increasingly drawn to her. As tensions rise and paranoia sets in, the couple must figure out whether the retreat's spiritual practices are genuinely helping them or hiding something far more terrifying. The distribution deal was negotiated between Vertical and the filmmaker's representatives, while Black Bear is handling international sales. Speaking about the project, writer-director Mark Heyman said, "Pendulum is a deeply personal film, inspired by real and really scary experiences. It's truly a dream come true to see it realized in theaters with a partner like Vertical." Vertical partner Peter Jarowi added, "Featuring incredible lead performances by Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Phoebe Dynevor, Pendulum is an impressive, terrifying debut from acclaimed screenwriter Mark Heyman. We are proud to be partnering with producers Darren, Jacob, and Dave, and are looking forward to ringing in 2027 by scaring the hell out of audiences." The film also features an experienced behind-the-scenes team, including cinematographer Sharon Meyer, editor Katrin Hedstrom, production designer Katie Hickman, costume designer Angelina Vito, casting directors Brett Howe and Mary Vernew, and composer Ben Lovett. Ice Age Boiling Point, February 5th, 2027. After nearly a decade away from theaters, the Ice Age franchise is officially making a comeback. Disney has released the first teaser for Ice Age Boiling Point, giving fans their first look at the long-awaited sixth movie. The original Ice Age debuted back in 2002 and became one of the most successful animated franchises of its era. While many fans assumed the series had ended after 2016's Collision Course, Disney has quietly been developing a new installment for several years. The newly released teaser reunites many of the franchise's familiar faces, including Manny, voiced by Ray Romano, Diego, voiced by Dennis Leary, Sid, voiced by John Leguizamo, Buck, voiced by Simon Pegg, and Ellie, voiced by Queen Latifah. Fan favorite Scrat also returns, alongside Crash, Eddie, and Baby Scrat. The teaser shows the gang being blasted out of a volcano and thrown into a chaotic adventure through unexplored regions of the Lost World, packed with dinosaurs, lava, and plenty of the franchise's trademark comedy. Disney hasn't revealed many plot details yet, but more information is expected as the release date gets closer. The Ice Age series has been a box office powerhouse over the years. The highest-grossing entry remains Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, which earned $886 million worldwide, followed closely by Ice Age Continental Drift with $879 million globally. However, the franchise's most recent theatrical release, Ice Age Collision Course, saw a noticeable decline, raising questions about how audiences will respond to the series' return. Whether Ice Age Boiling Point becomes another massive hit or struggles at the box office remains to be seen. But after 10 years, the prehistoric gang is officially back. The Nightingale, February 12, 2027. After years of delays and uncertainty, Kristen Hanna's best-selling novel The Nightingale is finally heading to the big screen. The long-awaited adaptation now has a release date, an impressive cast, and production is officially underway. TriStars Pictures has scheduled The Nightingale to hit theaters. The project was originally announced before the COVID-19 pandemic, but multiple delays pushed the film back for several years. Production officially began earlier this year, with author Kristen Hanna confirming in March that filming had started. The movie is currently shooting in Budapest. Real-life sisters Dakota Fanning and Elle Fanning, who have been attached to the project since 2019, will star as sisters Vianne Mauriac and Isabelle Rossignol. The cast has continued to grow, with Edmund Donovan joining in a mystery role, alongside Mark Rylance, Shira Haas, Albrecht Schuch, Douglas Hodge, Gwilym Lee, and Vinette Robinson. Based on Kristen Hanna's hugely successful novel, the story follows sisters Vianne and Isabel during the German occupation of France in World War II. While Vianne takes a more cautious approach to surviving the war, Isabel embraces a rebellious path, with both women resisting the occupation in very different ways. The film is being directed by Michael Morris, with a screenplay written by Dana Stevens. Producers include the Fanning sisters through their company Llewellyn Pictures, along with Reese Witherspoon and Lauren Neustadter for Hello Sunshine. The adaptation has had a long journey to the screen. TriStar first acquired the rights in 2015, and several filmmakers became attached over the years, including Michelle McLaren and Melanie Laurent. The film was originally planned for release in 2020 before the pandemic, and other production delays forced multiple postponements. Now, more than a decade after the rights were first acquired, The Nightingale is finally becoming a reality, with one of the most anticipated historical drama releases of 2027 on the horizon. Narnia, February 12, 2027. Netflix has officially confirmed the release plans for Greta Gerwig's long-awaited Narnia reboot, and the streamer is making a major exception for the project. Greta Gerwig's adaptation of C.S. Lewis's The Magician's Nephew will debut in theaters on February 12, 2027, before arriving on Netflix on April 2nd. Special IMAX preview screenings will begin on February 10th, making it the first Netflix original film to receive a full 45-day theatrical window before streaming. The extended theatrical release comes after Gerwig pushed for a proper big-screen run for the film, marking a significant shift from Netflix's usual release strategy. In a statement, Greta Gerwig said, "Working with Netflix to bring this film to life has been extraordinary, and IMAX continues to be an incredible partner. I cannot wait for people to see the film in theaters on February 12th and on Netflix on April 2nd. Gerwig also reflected on her personal connection to the source material, explaining that she first read The Magician's Nephew as a child and became fascinated by the idea of a cosmic lion singing the world of Narnia into existence. She described adapting the story as the honor of a lifetime. According to Netflix's official synopsis, the film will adapt The Magician's Nephew for the first time on screen, telling the story of the creation of Narnia in what the studio calls a sweeping adventure that invites dreamers of all ages. The cast includes Emma Mackey as Jadis, also known as the White Witch, Meryl Streep as the voice of Aslan, Carey Mulligan as Mabel Kirk, Daniel Craig, Kobna Holbrook-Smith, and newcomer David McKenna as Diggory Kirk. The C.S. Lewis Company also praised Gerwig's vision, saying she has approached the story with joy, heart, and genuine love, and that they are excited to introduce a new generation to the world of Narnia. The Thomas Crown Affair, March 5, 2027. Michael B. Jordan is returning to the director's chair following the success of Sinners and Creed 3, and his next project is a stylish new take on the classic heist film The Thomas Crown Affair. At CinemaCon, Amazon MGM gave audiences a first look at the upcoming remake, which is shaping up to be one of the studio's biggest releases of 2027. Before the footage was shown, composer John Batiste performed live on piano, setting the tone for the presentation. Afterwards, Michael B. Jordan took the stage to introduce the film. Jordan explained that he first discovered the character through the 1999 remake of The Thomas Crown Affair, but it was after watching the original 1968 film starring Steve McQueen that he fully understood the appeal of Thomas Crown. He praised McQueen's effortless cool and said the character's intelligence and sophistication drew him to the project. The footage shown at CinemaCon reportedly leaned heavily into style, romance, and old-school heist thrills. Jordan plays Thomas Crown, a wealthy and highly skilled art thief who steals for the challenge rather than the money. The teaser featured him scaling buildings, stealing a priceless Van Gogh painting, and bringing his co-star Adria Arjona into a luxurious penthouse filled with rare and valuable artwork. The film is written by Drew Pearce and boasts an impressive ensemble cast that includes Kenneth Branagh, Lily Gladstone, Aubrey Plaza, Denai Guerrera, and Ruth Negga. The Legend of Zelda, April 30th, 2027. Nintendo has officially moved up the release date for its live-action adaptation of The Legend of Zelda, meaning fans will get to return to Hyrule a week earlier than expected. On Wednesday, Nintendo executive and Zelda co-creator Shigeru Miyamoto announced that the film's worldwide theatrical release has been moved from May 7, 2027 to April 30th. In a statement shared on X, Miyamoto said, "This is Miyamoto. I would like to let you know that the worldwide theatrical release for the live-action film of The Legend of Zelda has been moved up to April 30th from May 7th. The team is working hard to deliver the film to everyone as soon as possible. There's less than a year to go until release, so thank you for waiting." Nintendo and Sony recently confirmed the film's two leads, with Benjamin Evan Ainsworth cast as Link and Bo Bragason cast as Princess Zelda. Production on the film began earlier this year, with Nintendo releasing first-look images showing both actors in costume. The movie is being directed by Wes Ball, who previously directed the Maze Runner trilogy and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. The project was first announced in 2023 as a collaboration between Nintendo and Sony Pictures. Based on the legendary video game franchise created by Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka in 1986, The Legend of Zelda follows the heroic warrior Link and Princess Zelda as they battle the evil demon King Ganon in an effort to save the magical kingdom of Hyrule. John Rambo, June 4th, 2027. Lionsgate has officially set a release date for John Rambo, the upcoming prequel that will explore the origins of one of action cinema's most iconic heroes. John Rambo will tell the story of the legendary soldier before the events of the 1982 classic First Blood, exploring the experiences that shaped John Rambo into the character audiences first met over 4 decades ago. Taking over the role made famous by Sylvester Stallone is Noah Centineo, who will portray a younger version of the battle-hardened veteran. While Stallone will not reprise the role, he remains involved with the project as an executive producer. The film is being directed by Jalmari Helander, best known for directing the action thriller Sisu. The screenplay was written by Rory Haynes and Sohrab Noshirvani, with producers including Kevin King Templeton, Les Weldon, Jonathan Younger, Angela Russo Ostot, and Michael Disco. Executive producers also include Anthony Russo and Joe Russo through Agbo. The Rambo franchise has remained one of the most successful action series of all time, earning more than $819 million worldwide across 5 films. With John Rambo, Lionsgate is hoping to revisit the character's early years and introduce a new generation of audiences to the legendary action hero. A Minecraft Movie Squared, July 23, 2027. A Minecraft Movie Squared is officially on the way, with Warner Bros. Moving quickly to expand the blockbuster video game franchise following the success of 2025's A Minecraft Movie. The upcoming adventure comedy sequel is once again being directed by Jared Hess, who co-wrote the screenplay alongside Chris Galletta. The film serves as a direct sequel to A Minecraft Movie and is scheduled to arrive in theaters on July 23, 2027. Talks about a sequel reportedly began just days after the release of the first film in April 2025, with Warner Bros. Officially announcing the project in October of that year. Production began in New Zealand in May 2026, and the title, A Minecraft Movie Squared, was officially unveiled during Minecraft Live on May 30, 2026. Several stars from the first movie are returning for the sequel. Jason Momoa reprises his role as Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison, the former gaming champion turned video game store owner, while Jack Black returns as Steve, the former doorknob salesman who spent years living in the overworld. Danielle Brooks is back as Dawn, the real estate agent and owner of Steve's beloved wolf Dennis, while Jennifer Coolidge returns as Marlene, the vice principal of Chuglass High School. Meanwhile, Matt Berry is set to play a new, currently undisclosed character after previously voicing Nitwit in the original film. Joining the cast is Kirsten Dunst, who will portray Alex, one of Minecraft's most iconic player characters. Dunst takes over the role following Alex's brief appearance in the first film's post-credits scene, where she was voiced by Kate McKinnon and portrayed on-screen by Alice May Connolly. While plot details remain under wraps, the return of Steve, Garrett, Dawn, Dennis, and the introduction of Alex suggests that the sequel will continue exploring the overworld while bringing another of Minecraft's most recognizable characters into the spotlight. The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, December 17, 2027. Even after The Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power ends, fans won't be saying goodbye to Middle-earth anytime soon. Warner Bros. Is expanding the franchise with The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, a new live-action film centered on one of Tolkien's most intriguing characters. Set between The Hobbit and the Fellowship of the Ring, the movie follows Aragorn's mission to find Gollum before he can reveal the One Ring's location to Sauron. The story draws from Tolkien's notes and explores a period only briefly touched on in the original films. Andy Serkis returns as Gollum and Smeagol while also directing the film, with Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Boyens producing. The cast is expected to include Elijah Wood as Frodo, Ian McKellen as Gandalf, and Lee Pace as Thranduil, alongside newcomers Jamie Dornan, Leo Woodall, and Kate Winslet. The filmmakers say the hunt for Gollum will stand on its own while fitting naturally into the larger Lord of the Rings saga. And with more Lord of the Rings movies already in development, it's clear that Middle-earth isn't leaving theaters anytime soon. The Heart Eyes Killer, February 11th, 2028. The Heart Eyes Killer is officially returning to theaters. Paramount Pictures has announced that Heart Eyes 2 will be released on February 11th, with the studio co-producing and co-financing the sequel alongside Spyglass Media. The original Heart Eyes starred Olivia Holt and Mason Gooding as two co-workers who become the targets of a serial killer after being mistaken for a couple on Valentine's Day. The film earned $33 million worldwide against an $18 million budget and developed a strong following among horror fans. Director Josh Rubin is returning to helm the sequel and will co-write the screenplay with Darcy Fowler, based on a story by Christopher Landon and Michael Kennedy. It's currently unclear which cast members from the first film will return, and plot details are being kept under wraps. Although Heart Eyes wasn't a major box office hit, it received positive reviews for blending romantic comedy and slasher elements. Josh Rubin previously suggested that the franchise had strong sequel and spin-off potential, noting that the Heart Eyes Killer could be inserted into the framework of almost any classic romantic comedy, creating a unique mix of romance and horror. With a Valentine's weekend release date and the creative team returning, Paramount appears confident that Heart Eyes can grow into a long-running horror franchise. Elden Ring, March 3, 2028. A24 and Bandai Namco have officially set a release date for their live-action adaptation of Elden Ring. The film, written and directed by Alex Garland, is scheduled to hit theaters and IMAX screens and is already in production. The movie stars Kit Connor and Ben Whishaw, with a host of new cast additions joining them, including Kaylee Spenny, Tom Burke, Havana Rose Liu, Sonoya Mizuno, Jonathan Price, Ruby Cruz, Nick Offerman, Emma Laird, and Peter Serafinowicz. The project is being produced by Peter Rice, Andrew McDonald, and Alan Reich, alongside George R.R. Martin and Vince Gerardis. According to reports, Garland, a longtime fan of the game, personally approached Bandai Namco and From Software to pitch his vision for the adaptation. Released in 2022 under the direction of Hidetaka Miyazaki, Elden Ring became a global phenomenon. The dark fantasy action RPG based on lore created in collaboration with George R.R. Martin has sold more than 30 million copies worldwide, won over 400 Game of the Year awards, and is widely regarded as one of the greatest video games ever made. With Alex Garland at the helm, an all-star cast, and a full IMAX release planned, Elden Ring is shaping up to be one of the most ambitious and anticipated video game adaptations ever produced. Glattis, September 8, 2028. Warner Bros. Is already expanding the universe of its upcoming horror film Weapons with a prequel focused on one of its most unsettling characters. The studio announced at CinemaCon that Glattis, a prequel centered on Aunt Gladys, will be released in theaters. The film will explore the origins of the villain originally portrayed by Academy Award winner Amy Madigan in Weapons, although it has not yet been confirmed whether she will return for the prequel. The screenplay is being written by Zach Krager, who also created Weapons, alongside Zach Shields, whose previous credits include Krampus and Godzilla King of the Monsters. The announcement was part of Warner Bros.' broader CinemaCon presentation, which also included release dates for The Revenge of La Llorona and Final Destination 7. The studio has been steadily increasing its theatrical output under film division heads Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, with plans to release 18 films in 2027. Speaking at CinemaCon, Mike DeLuca argued that box office attendance remains below pre-pandemic levels, partly because studios are releasing fewer films than before, while Pam Abdi acknowledged the risks involved in expanding the studio slate, saying that not every project will succeed. With Glattis already set for release more than 2 years before it arrives in theaters, Warner Bros. Appears to have significant confidence in weapons and its potential to launch a new horror franchise. Let me know in the comments which of these upcoming movies you're most excited to see in theaters. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we'll be covering more movie news, updates, and trailers as they arrive. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.